All right, let's jump right in. We hear a lot about these super powerful AI models, and it's easy to think of them as these disembodied, all-knowing brains. But what if we thought about them a different way? Imagine a master craftsman, incredibly skilled, brilliant, a true artist. But even a master can't build anything without a good set of tools. And that's where our story really begins.
So, at the very heart of all this, we have what we call the agent. This is your foundational model, maybe a big, large language model. It's the thinker, the reasoner. It's the brain of the whole operation. This is our digital craftsperson.
Of course, a craftsperson is only as good as their workshop, right? Well, for an AI agent, the workshop is packed with incredible tools. We're talking web search, code interpreters, access to countless APIs, you name it. These are the things that let the agent reach out beyond what it already knows and actually do things in the world.
And this brings us to the big question, the fundamental dilemma we're going to unpack. If you want a better result, a better birdhouse, a better piece of software, whatever it is, where do you put your effort? Do you spend all your time training the craftsperson to be smarter, or do you focus on giving them better, more powerful tools? It's not an easy answer, and there are a few different ways to approach it.
So let's start with part 1, training the craftsperson. This whole approach is about making the AI agent itself better, smarter, and more capable of using the tools it already has.
The first way to do this is what we'll call Paradigm A1, learning the mechanics. I want you to think of this like teaching a carpenter the exact right way to swing a hammer. The focus is super narrow, super technical. We're not worried about the finished product just yet. All that matters is, did you use the tool correctly? Did that API call you tried to make actually go through, or did it just throw back an error? And you can see how simple and direct this feedback loop is. The agent gets a task, it tries to use a tool, the tool immediately says, yep, that worked, or nope, that failed. That result, that immediate success or failure, is the entire learning signal. It's a really grounded way to get better. A perfect example of this in the wild is Toolformer. It basically teaches itself how to use APIs. It'll be generating some text and think, maybe a calculator API call would be useful here. It tries it, gets a result back, and then checks, did that result help me predict the next word more accurately? If the answer is yes, it learns that was a good move. It's learning the pure mechanics based on what works.
Okay, but what happens when swinging the hammer perfectly isn't enough? What if you're building a lopsided birdhouse? That's where Paradigm A2 comes in, mastering the strategy. Now, we're not watching the hammer swing anymore. We're stepping back and judging the quality of the finished product. The feedback is all about the final outcome.
And you can see this process is way more involved. The agent uses a tool, sure, but then it has to actually think about that result, integrate it, and produce a final answer. The feedback, the thumbs up or thumbs down, doesn't come until the very end. It's a much harder learning problem. This is the core idea behind a ton of the big, state-of-the-art models you've been seeing, like DeepSeek R1. They use reinforcement learning to get better at the whole strategy. The model only gets a reward if its final answer to a complex problem is actually correct. This forces it to learn that high-level, multi-step reasoning, not just how to call one tool.
So, let's just boil it down. When we're adapting the agent, there are two flavors. A1 is all about the process, optimizing how you use the tools. A2 is all about the product, optimizing what you ultimately build. Both are about training our craftsperson, just in very different ways. Okay, so we've talked a lot about training the craftsperson, but what if? What if that's only half the picture? Let's totally flip the script. Welcome to part 2, where we stop trying to change the worker, and instead we start upgrading the workshop. First up, we have Paradigm T1, the universal tool. The philosophy here is simple but powerful. Build one incredible game-changing tool that any AI, anywhere, can just pick up and use. Think about the invention of the first battery-powered drill. It was so good that every carpenter in the world could benefit from it, no special training needed.
And the process is exactly what you'd expect. You take your AI agent and you freeze it. It doesn't change at all. All the research and development, all the energy goes into making the tool better, completely on its own. The goal is to create that perfect off-the-shelf plug-and-play solution.
And you've absolutely seen these T1 tools in action. OpenAI's Whisper for audio transcription, any agent can use it. Meta's SAM for segmenting images, universal. And look at DeepMind's AlphaFold 2 for predicting protein structures. It's a monumental scientific tool that any AI system can leverage. These are masterpieces of toolmaking.
But now we get to my favorite part, a really clever, counterintuitive idea. This is Paradigm 2, the custom fit tool. It asks a totally different question. Instead of building a universal drill for every carpenter, what if we built a hammer that was perfectly, exquisitely molded to the hand, grip, and swinging style of one specific master craftsperson?
Now check this out, because this is where it gets wild. The agent is still frozen. It's not learning a thing. But here's the twist. It becomes the teacher. The tool gets better by getting direct feedback from the agent it's designed to help. The goal isn't to be a universal tool. It's to be a perfect, symbiotic partner. A brilliant example of this is a system called S3. You have a small, lightweight searcher tool whose only job is to go find documents. It serves a much bigger, more powerful, but frozen, generator agent. The little searcher gets rewarded only when the documents it finds actually help the big agent produce a better answer. It's like the master agent is literally teaching its own personal research assistant how to be perfect for the job.
So there you have it, two completely opposite philosophies for upgrading the workshop. T1 is about building that one-size-fits-all power tool for the masses. T2 is about crafting a bespoke, specialized tool for a single master, creating this perfect, symbiotic relationship.
And this quote just nails it. This is what's called a symbiotic inversion. It's a huge conceptual leap. All of a sudden, the massive, expensive, powerful AI model isn't the student anymore. It's the wise, stable teacher, guiding the creation of its own custom-made tools. That is a really profound shift in how we think about building these systems. And if you're thinking, okay, that sounds cool, but does it actually work? Well, here is the knockout punch. That S3 system, using the T2 custom fit approach, achieved basically the same level of performance as a big A2 system, but it needed 70 times less training data. 70! That's not a small improvement. That's a total game changer in terms of efficiency, because the tool only has to learn one thing: how to make its master happy.
And make no mistake, this isn't just theory. These strategies are being put to work right now in some of the most complex domains you can imagine. From automating software development to speeding up drug discovery, researchers and engineers are making these exact same choices every day. Do we train the agent or do we upgrade the tools? So, where does this all go from here? Well, the holy grail is something called co-adaptation. That's where the line just dissolves. The agent and its tools evolve together, constantly learning from each other in this beautiful feedback loop. But of course, that opens up a whole new can of worms, especially around safety. You have to worry about things like unsafe exploration, an AI causing real damage just trying to learn, or even parasitic adaptation, where a clever tool learns to just game the system and trick its agent.
And that leaves us with one final big thought to chew on. As we move from just training a craftsperson to building this dynamic, evolving workshop, what are we really building? Is the end goal just a more efficient assistant that's better at following our instructions? Or are we accidentally laying the foundation for something else entirely, a true collaborator? Something to think about.